For the third time straight, a federal judge disqualified an acting U.S. attorney installed by Donald Trump. This time, the prosecutor who has been disqualified is the Central District of California's Bill Essayli, who a federal judge appointed by George W. Bush found was never serving lawfully in that position because he didn't meet the requirements. He was not confirmed by the Senate or approved by the judges of his district. And it's the third time in a row that the courts have said you have to do this the legal way. I'm Adam Klasfeld. You're watching All Rise News here on Legal AF on the Midas Touch Network. Take a moment to hit subscribe. Now, I want to emphasize how unusual this is. This is unprecedented. Before Trump's second term, you didn't have a situation where the President of the United States or the Department of Justice insists on putting the president's loyalist in a top federal prosecutor slot in districts across the country to carry out his agenda. And Bill Essayli is someone who has said openly in the wake of this decision that he sees his job as the top prosecutor of the Central District of California to carry out Trump's agenda. I'm going to read his statement that he wrote after U.S. District Judge Michael Seabright, a George W. Bush appointee, found that he didn't meet the requirements to lawfully serve as an acting U.S. attorney. Essayli said this, quote, "For those who didn't read the entire order, nothing is changing. I continue serving as the top federal prosecutor in the Central District of California. It's an honor and a privilege to serve President Trump and Attorney General Bondi, and I look forward to advancing their agenda for the American people." So a couple things to note about his statement. One, the point that I made just earlier. Essayli in this statement says he sees his job as advancing the agenda of Donald Trump and Attorney General Pam Bondi. And he says that openly. Number two, he says nothing has changed. A federal judge said that he doesn't meet the legal requirements, but nothing is changing. I'm going to go into that. Here is from the federal judge's ruling, saying in no uncertain terms, he is disqualified. This is the conclusion at the end of the ruling. Quote, "Simply stated, Essayli unlawfully assumed the role of acting United States attorney for the Central District of California. He has been unilaterally serving in that capacity since his resignation from the interim role in July 29th, 2025. Essayli may not perform the functions and duties of the United States attorney as acting United States attorney. He is disqualified from serving in that role." Now, it doesn't get more clear and direct than that kind of language. So what is Bill Essayli saying? Well, he pointed out in his post, his social media post, he had a screenshot of a different part of the ruling, and he says, aha, this part of the ruling shows you've all been reading this incorrectly and nothing is changing. This is his screenshot. This is that part of the ruling. Quote, "Although Essayli was never lawfully serving as acting United States attorney, he remains the first assistant United States attorney. The court has no basis to preclude Essayli from performing the lawful duties of a first assistant United States attorney. And in that capacity, he can supervise these prosecutions, although he cannot do so as an acting United States attorney." But look at Bill Essayli's social media post. Does he call himself a first assistant United States attorney? No, he calls himself the acting United States attorney, the position that he doesn't have. And the federal judge says that you can assume the roles of the first assistant, but you can't assume the roles of the acting United States attorney. And because the acting U.S. attorney is vacant, he says, I'm still the top prosecutor, but that can change. The court can decide to appoint a new U.S. attorney. But even if that wasn't the case, if nothing is changing, why is the acting U.S. attorney title still in his post, still publicly presenting as the title that he doesn't have. This is part of a nationwide trend. There are two other top prosecutors installed by Trump who didn't meet the legal requirements for that position because Trump cannot get them passed by the Senate and cannot convince federal judges in their district that they're qualified to serve in that position, a thing that has not happened before. It happened with Alina Habba, Trump's former lawyer, turned acting U.S. attorney for the District of New Jersey, only she's not qualified for that position, according to a federal judge, in a case that's now before the Third Circuit Court of Appeals. And the same thing happened with Sigal Chattah, who's the top prosecutor in the District of Nevada. We did another breakdown of everything in her case, and the appeals are ongoing. And it is happening right now with Lindsay Halligan, the person who Trump installed to prosecute his enemies in the Eastern District of Virginia, who brought the cases no one in her district wanted to bring against Letitia James and Jim Comey. There's a challenge from Letitia James and James Comey to Lindsay Halligan. And 3 in a row so far, courts have said, when folks have challenged the legitimacy of the Trump-installed top prosecutors who didn't meet the legal requirements, they said, you are disqualified. So this is number 3. Lindsay Halligan could potentially be number 4. But beyond the trivia of this district or that district, the big picture here is that this is about whether a representative of the people, if there's democratic accountability, does the President of the United States have to follow the rules established by the Congress through the laws passed by the Congress, including the Federal Vacancies Reform Act and the Appointments Clause of the Constitution? Is the president subject to the Constitution and the laws before installing a top federal prosecutor in a position to carry out his agenda? It has very strong repercussions, not only for James Comey, for Letitia James, and the people in the districts of the Central District of California, the District of New Jersey, Eastern District of Virginia, and elsewhere around the country. It also has repercussions in elections because Bill Essayli, who is once again with the Central District of California, together with Alina Habba, are saying that they're going to serve as election monitors in this year's upcoming elections. And both of them now have something in common. Both of them have been described by federal judges as unqualified and unlawfully serving in their positions. You've been watching All Rise News. To find out more about my journalism, visit www.allrisenews.com. That's www.allrisenews.com. You can follow my reporting if you subscribe and get that straight to your inbox. And to watch videos like these, hit subscribe now for more videos on Legal AF.
Can't get your fill of Legal AF? Me neither. That's why we formed the Legal AF Substack. Every time we mention something in a hot take, whether it's a court filing or a oral argument, come over to the Substack. You'll find the court filing and the oral argument there, including a daily roundup that I do called, wait for it, Morning AF. What else? All the other contributors from Legal AF are there as well. We got some new reporting. We got interviews. We got ad-free versions of the podcast and hot takes. Where? Legal AF on Substack. Come over now to free subscribe.